Hello, good evening. I just wanted to make a quick audio video. I want to start off this video by giving shout outs to the Cookie Crush chat. I want to give a very special, a very special shout out to Lennon Honor or Lenore Honor, Information Man, Lene Stacks. Who else you got? You got, I do apologize. I forget a number of the names here, but everybody that's calling out Umar, thank you. God bless you. My quick story. I heard of Umar probably in 2010, 2011. He was supposed to be linking up with Tommy Sotomayor back in the day. He and Tommy Sotomayor had a fallout. And my first inclination that something was wrong with Umar was I definitely remember the first spat he had with Tariq Nasheed. I wasn't really with Tariq Nasheed at that time, but when I heard Tommy Sotomayor call it out, and Tommy Sotomayor called it out and said, why doesn't Umar have a wife? He claims to love black women, but somehow he doesn't have a black wife. Now, to my knowledge, the information about his kids wasn't out. Nobody knew about how many kids he had, because I'm pretty sure Tommy Sotomayor would have called him out at that time and said, why don't you raise your kid? Because here's the thing. If Tommy Sotomayor is quote-unquote such a coon, same way the Umar Johnson calls Roland Martin a coon and other people a coon, excuse me, he may not have called Roland Martin, but one of his guests. But if he calls, and I believe it was a black Republican, so if Tommy Sotomayor, allegedly a black Republican, if he calls Tommy Sotomayor a coon, how come Tommy Sotomayor raises his daughter and has his daughter in an actual registered private school? Let me say that three more times like Umar does. If Tommy Sotomayor is allegedly a coon, how come said coon has his daughter in his custody and or is an active parent and has his said daughter in a registered what's the other word? An accredited private school? I should say it one more time, but y'all know what it is. I ain't trying to sound repetitive and talk crazy. I made a few bullet points over the last couple of videos that I've been watching over the weekend and more so in earlier this week. So I just want to make a quick video about some of the bullet points that I wrote down. And I just want to put these questions out there, and hopefully you got people like Information Man, Lady Luck Crew, Lenore Honor, and the Cookie Crush chat will bring this into the atmosphere. And let's put the pressure on Umar. Excuse me, on Jermaine Shoemake. Let's call his ass what his name is. So excuse me a second while I get my notes straight, and I'm gonna see what you guys think of this. I'm gonna shoot these out in no particular order, and hopefully we can get these questions answered by Mr. Shoemake. Yes, and Marianne Laurent. I do apologize, Marianne Laurent. I watched her recent video regarding Umar probably like twice. I know I watched hers, the original, and then I watched other people making comments, and I was just dovetailing off the other commenters who were watching Marianne Laurent's video. So here we go. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes and make it quick. Point number one. Jermaine Shoemake and FDMG, there are no board of directors. If there were, would they not? No, this is just me going on a tangent here. For this first bullet point, no board of directors. Why don't we know their names? Why aren't the names public? Should the board of directors not have their own email address, each individual member? And please get in the comments and let me know if I'm wrong or where I can expand or could expand with these questions. So there, as I stated, this is just me going off the head now. They don't have names. Their names aren't public. Although he says it's supposed to be a private entity, I mean, it's kind of strange that you donate to a place, a private entity, but you don't know who are on the board of directors, right? I mean, this is just me going off the top of my head. A public company, something that's an IPO, initial public offering on the stock market, Standard Poor's 500, Dow Jones Industrial, etc., right? They're public. This place is private. His school, quote unquote, is private. but he's serving in the public. And if you pay, then you get to go. So doesn't that kind of make it public? I mean, it's not like free like an actual public school, but this is just me. A little bit of a sidebar. I found a website for private schools in the area, and those kids they got to pass the test. So if the kids don't pass the test, it's like what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with the A, acumen. If they don't pass the acumen test, and the kids can't get in. So I'm just trying to think if that's how he plans to somehow shoehorn this in as private, right? Yeah. So the kids got to have a certain level of academia to get in. I don't think Umar has ever covered what that level is. So if there isn't a level of certain academia requirement, let's say call it a score of 90 plus on what test, what standardized testing, if at all, right? So that speaks to the accreditation of the school. And if they don't even have to take a test, is this really private? Because again, I can pay $500 and get into a strip club or get into Six Flags, what have you. That doesn't make it private per se. It just means there's a fee up front. Okay, again, fill me in. Let me know where I can expand with my questions, where I went wrong. I'm going to hit point 2, bullet point number 2. No ledger, profit and loss, and or balance sheets. I'm going to say that again. There's no ledger, profit, loss, and or balance sheet for FDMG, at least that he has made public. If he wanted to prove lien or honor and Lene Stacks and other what's the word I'm looking for? Other people who critique. I'm not going to call them criticizers per se and make it a negative, but other people who ask reasonable questions. And especially, this just hit me now, because Umar had said, within the last 2 months that lien or honor and Lene Stacks had somehow froze, excuse me, did I call him Umar? His name is Jermaine. That Jermaine, his bank accounts got frozen by lien or honor and Lene Stacks. So if that's the case, and he claimed it was for so long, he could easily prove that, because he was begging for donations at that time, right? So if you want to prove that your accounts were frozen currently and or after the fact for that time period, he could have easily pulled up a spreadsheet, right? Because he said he had no access to the bank account. He called up the bank, what have you, and allegedly they told him, what bank account are you talking about? Like, they closed his account. So if he had a profit and loss sheet, like you would if you're running a business, because it's supposed to be excuse me, let me not quote him or misquote him rather, but a private school, he said they're supposed to pay $500 a month. And this, let me just go off on a little side note real quick. Did Jermaine Shoemake ever say that this place was supposed to be for profit? I'm going to ask that a question again. Did Jermaine Shoemake ever say that this school was to be for profit? Okay, because he's trying to run this as a charity. I'm going to say it again. Did Umar ever say that this place was to be for profit? Again, I say that because there's no ledger, there's no profit and loss sheet, there's no balance sheet. If Lene Stacks or lien or honor and or information man and or Marianne Laurent, if they had somehow locked off his account, then he should have a ledger, balance, profit and loss, and or balance sheet on site. Even if it's something you keep in Excel and somehow keep a PDF on your phone or something of the previous week, at least you'd be able to show that there's complete inactivity on the main, or what he called AKA, or allegedly rather, the FDMG account and his personal account, right? I'm gonna say this on the side. When you do certain banking business, would you not only do that with certain banks? I'm saying, like, I don't know if you go to Wells Fargo or if you go to Chase or if you go to TD. Like, usually if you're doing like strictly business, you go to certain banks because they're going to give you better rates, let alone if you're doing something like out of school. Again, someone get up in the comments, let me know if I'm wrong, right? If you're doing like no, I'm not going to say private equity, but if you're doing, let's say you're opening up a vape shop, right, versus a charity, would you not, aren't there specific banks or banks that are more geared towards, um, I wouldn't say charity per se, but again, did Jermaine Shoemake ever say this place is supposed to be profitable? So that only leans more into the lack of taxes and whatnot. Please forgive my speech pattern. I had a recent head injury, so I do apologize. My speech pattern is not what it used to be, so please bear with me. A lot of stuttering and searching for words here. I do apologize. Point number 3: existing tax record versus what's purposely not filed. Lien or honor. This is what really popped things open for me. I had seen Umar. I don't want to, excuse me, Jermaine Shoemake. I had seen him. I don't want to say recently, but again, I was a fan before a while. Yes, the Tommy Sotomayor interaction kind of raised definitely a yellow flag at the least, and then the whole conscious stripper thing came out. I think that's what did it. That's what happened. When the conscious stripper came out, that's when Tommy jumped on his ass, because I think that Umar was supposed to be in Tommy's documentary, and then Umar backed out at the last minute. Oh shit, here we go. How Umar keeps backing out at the last minute. Come time, look at Lene Stacks, what she had just said earlier this week. So apparently this has been something that Lene Stacks has been saying has been going on for years. So if you guys want to follow back and go back with Tommy Sotomayor, I want to say this is probably 2000. It's between 2009 and 2013 probably, because it happened right around or during the conscious stripper thing, and that's when Tommy jumped on his ass. So it makes sense. Umar did not show up. He promised to be in that documentary. Do not quote me if Tommy paid him, but probably did, because Tommy was making a movie, and it makes no sense to have someone up in a movie and not pay him. But again, I can't speak to that with definitive fact. So I encourage you to go back and look that up yourselves. Nonetheless, it does make sense when you just compare that to what Marianne Laurent had stated. Marianne Laurent had stated in her video earlier this week that Umar has been doing this for a very long time, pulling out the last, well, not with his baby moms, but jumping out of contracts at the last minute, contracts and or verbal agreements, because I don't want to slander him per se. But it seems like what Marianne Laurent said is very true. This is going back to 2012, 2013, 2011 maybe, for Tommy Sotomayor's documentary, and the conscious stripper, how that all came out around the same time. I don't remember what exact year it happened, but it did happen. So it kind of makes sense that what Marianne Laurent said, just do be skipping out on verbal agreements and or contracts. Let me see here. Where was I? Yes, I was on existing tax records, what's filed versus what's not filed. So that's pretty obvious. When I saw Lenore Honor pull out the tax records, and I'm just, again, all you gotta do is use common sense in regards to what Jermaine Shoemake, sorry, he didn't even post it. Lenore Honor actually, Lennon, I know, I'm just making fun of him. Lenore Honor actually had to go dig up the tax files. And here's the thing, if Jermaine Shoemake wanted to prove all the naysayers wrong and just make Lenore Honor look like an idiot, why not just release the tax files? Just show that, hey, this is on the up and up. And at least before these people start calling state attorney generals and city solicitors and whatnot, what have you, would it not be easier just to shut Lenore Honor up and say, hey, this is the taxes filed, everything balances up, right? I'll just go off on a quick side note. I knew I assumed that Umar did not have an accountant, just because one year, I think, if you look at the tax records that Lenore Honor was able to put up there, you'll see that I think one year he did himself and then he got like a different accountant the next year. I mean, if you're doing something, a project like that, again, you would think that you'd find a bank that's friendly to businesses and or charitable foundations. Excuse me. And with that said, you'd find an accountant or at least an accounting firm that's friendly to charitable organizations. I'm not saying that a bookkeeper can't do it, but it looks better on paper if you have a specialist behind it. Someone who's done, let's say, I'm not saying Doctors Without Borders or that organization feed the what is it, Feed the Children, I think. That's another side note. Where's that food pantry, Mr. Shoemake? Even that daycare you could have been doing, because there's a private school within 10 miles of your school that does a daycare. I think they do daycare through grade 5, I think. And yeah, looking at their website, their tuition's only $585. Was it $585 a month? I think it's $585 versus what you wanted, $500. So again, if we go back to like I said, point 3 here, existing tax records versus what's not filed, or sorry, I should say point 2, the ledger, right? No kids attending. You'd think that school would be running a loss. Why not file the taxes and show what big of a loss that you're running? That way, and please correct me if I'm wrong, when you show a loss, you're able to write off some, if not a majority of the expenses. For example, as I said in Lenore Honor's comment section sometime last week, renovation expense. Whether that be labor for renovation material, cost overrun, and etc. This is something that you'd probably have a spreadsheet for as well. If you're serious, you'd have a spreadsheet. If not, something to compare to what your accountant is billing you and or claiming. But who am I? I'm just a local idiot. All right, so what was this? Yeah, let me just see if I can read my notes here. Got some chicken scratch. I was going to say board. Yes, he has a board. He claims to have a board and a team, but lack of tax filing. So that just goes off the third point: existing tax records, what's purposely visible versus what's not filed. All right. So if he had a board or a team, so he claims, how do you have that but no tax filings for all the years, including not only FDMG, but the Ohio school he was trying to get, the Detroit school he was trying to get? This is what blew me up with Lenore Honor, because I didn't know about the Ohio one. I didn't know about the one in the farm field he was trying to get, and that land was going to be given to him for free. All he needed was like a couple portables. Even one, he could have started the school. Apparently, he tried to start one at, was it Philadelphia, New York? He was looking for a school, and Chicago as well. If I never found Lenore Honor, I would have never known that he tried to get a school and was soliciting money for all these damn places. Matter of fact, when Jermaine Shoemake came to my city, he said, yeah, I'm starting a school here too. So it goes back, and I have this shit on video. I should have that on video. What Lenore Honor says is true. Everywhere that Jermaine Shoemake goes, he claims he's going to start a school there, and then that's his way to drum up donations. And then he'll go disappear. He'll be off in the winter and somewhere in the south. You ain't gonna see that dude again, right? And then if and when he ever comes back, right, that's when you're not gonna hear nothing about I'm gonna start a school. So it's kind of strange. What is this now? Point number 4. I blew my 10 minutes. Long time. Hires Pookie and Ray Ray, like them dudes on the roof in them Nike Air Max and the what was he wearing? Not we call them shoes that them kids be wearing with the not why am I gonna say Clarks? It's something with a C or a K. Them little duck shoes or whatever. Right? Hires Pookie and Ray Ray at low cost to do the work, do the painting on the inside, allegedly tiles, but somehow that shit ain't done. But I guess, hey, the saying's true, you get what you pay for. the third rate dudes to do the AC, but you know that shit ain't even gonna happen. And so he when it comes to spending on the school, he knows how to cut corners. As some dude I used to work with said, short hands and long pockets. But he pays the white lawyers. He paid them boys their retainer. White lawyers. I'm gonna say that again. White lawyers. He paid them white lawyers real quick. Matter of fact, he paid them boys their retainer. Any balance, he must have paid that shit as soon as he got done settling up with Marianne Laurent. Point number 5. The painter, the gentleman who painted the mural outside the building. This gentleman here had to chase Jermaine Shoemake down, and if I'm not mistaken, there was recently a guy on YouTube who actually posted that guy's face and a video he made in regards to Jermaine Shoemake not paying him. Said gentleman taking Jermaine Shoemake to court, and apparently Jermaine Shoemake was a no-show at court, so the gentleman won his $3,000 judgment by default because Jermaine Shoemake refused to show up. So these are just a couple of the bullet points that I've taken just listening to Lean in Honor and Marianne Laurent over the last couple of days. I didn't get a chance to go through Marianne Laurent's video and make my bullet points with questions and whatnot in regards to what she had to say about talking to Bubba or Baba, whatever that clown his stance was on the whole situation. But I do thank those who have listened, and please, if I missed anything, put it in the comments. If I'm incorrect, put it in the comments. Where I can expand on my questioning, please put it in the comments. Don't be afraid to share this video with Jermaine Shoemake supporters. And one thing that I highly suggest is that a number of us in various cities can work together to educate the black community as to who Jermaine Shoemake is, what he's trying to do, what he has done, and most importantly, protect the women in your city from Jermaine Shoemake, who comes in under this cloak of someone who's there for the community. As Marianne Laurent said, he's a financial rapist, and God only knows what he tries to do to these women behind closed doors, the ones he brings back to his hotel room. Thank you for your time. Please share. You don't have to subscribe, but get these questions out there into the black conscious community. Let's start asking the hard questions, especially about the money and the paperwork. If it's all true, he should have a balance sheet, profit and loss, and or at the very least, balance sheets and or spreadsheets. I apologize for my vocal stumbling. Like I said, I recently had an accident, and yeah, so I'm not the same person I used to be. So I'll say that again. We got to start asking the hard questions about the ledger, profit and loss sheets, and balance sheets. If he's serious about the school, he'd have all of this, including at the very least Excel spreadsheet. Where are the tax records from all them years ago? If you more so going back to Lean or Honor's point, how and why you got to switch your IEN number and then switch up the name of the company, and then you lose your tax exempt status because you never filed it and you never kept up with it. If the man had a team, it would have been done. Anywho, please, if I missed something, add it. I greatly appreciate your time, and I'll be in the Cookie Crush chat tonight. Thank you so much. Have a good night.